I'm 71 years old, and I haven't checked my mail in 2 weeks. Not because I forgot, not because I've been away, because walking to the mailbox at the end of my driveway has become something I dread so much that I just stopped doing it. Yesterday I stood at my front window looking at that mailbox, knowing it was probably overflowing, knowing there were bills in there I needed to pay, and I still couldn't make myself walk out there. And I realized with a cold, sinking feeling that this wasn't about the mail. This was about me being afraid to leave my own house. It started small, like these things always do. Maybe 6 months ago, I noticed the walk to the mailbox left me more tired than it used to. My driveway isn't long, maybe 50 feet, but by the time I got back to the house I'd be breathing hard. My legs would feel heavy. So I started only checking the mail every other day instead of daily. Then twice a week. Then whenever I felt up to it, and somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling up to it at all. The problem wasn't just the physical effort, it was the fear. Fear of losing my balance on the slight slope of the driveway. Fear of getting dizzy halfway there and not being able to make it back. Fear of falling where no one could see me. Fear of my legs giving out. All these fears that lived in the back of my mind, getting louder every time I thought about that walk. Until eventually, the fear was bigger than my need to get the mail. I live alone. I've lived alone for 8 years, since my husband died. And living alone after 70 means there's no one there to get the mail for you. No one to notice you've stopped going out to get it. No one to see you standing at the window, staring at the mailbox like it's a mile away instead of 50 feet. You can avoid it indefinitely, and the only consequence is that pile of envelopes getting bigger and bigger, and the slow realization that you're trapped inside your own home. Have you felt this happening? This slow retreat from the world outside your door? The mailbox was just the beginning. I stopped going outside at all unless absolutely necessary. The front steps had always been a little steep, but now they looked dangerous. The walk to my car felt treacherous. Even stepping onto my own porch required planning and courage. So I just stayed inside, day after day, looking out the windows at a world I used to move through freely. When was the last time leaving your house felt easy instead of frightening? I started having groceries delivered. At first I told myself it was convenient, smart, modern. Why drive to the store when someone could bring it to me? But the truth was, I couldn't face the walk to my car, couldn't face getting in and out of it, couldn't face the store parking lot and the walking and the standing and all the physical effort required. So I stayed home and ordered online and pretended this was a choice, not a surrender. I stopped going to church, stopped meeting friends for coffee, stopped doing anything that required me to leave the house. And people noticed. They'd call and ask why I wasn't coming around anymore, and I'd make excuses. Not feeling well, too busy, maybe next time. But there was no next time. Because the real reason was that I was terrified of the steps, the walking, the uneven pavement, the possibility of falling, all of it. My daughter started getting worried. She'd call and ask what I was doing, and I'd tell her I was fine. Just staying in, resting, taking it easy. But she could hear something in my voice. She started asking more pointed questions. When was the last time you went out? When did you last see anyone? Are you leaving the house at all? And I'd get defensive, tell her I was fine, tell her to stop worrying, but she was right to worry. I wasn't fine. I was becoming a prisoner in my own home. The worst part was the mail continuing to pile up. Bills that weren't getting paid. Important notices I wasn't reading. My world continuing to function outside that mailbox while I sat inside, paralyzed by fear. I knew it was a problem. I knew I needed to deal with it. But every time I thought about walking out there, my chest would tighten and my breathing would get shallow and I'd talk myself out of it. Tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Do you know what it's like to be defeated by your own driveway? To look at a walk you've made thousands of times and see only danger. 3 weeks ago, my neighbor knocked on my door. She'd noticed my mailbox was overflowing and was worried something had happened to me. I opened the door and she saw me, alive and well, and the relief on her face turned to confusion. She asked if I was okay, if I knew my mail was piling up. And I couldn't lie to her. I just stood there and admitted it. That I'd been avoiding it, that walking out there felt too hard, too scary. That I'd been stuck inside my house for weeks. She didn't judge me. She just walked out to the mailbox right then, brought back the pile of mail, and handed it to me. And then she said something that cut right through me. She said, "You can't live like this. You can't be afraid to leave your own house." And she was right. But knowing she was right didn't make me less afraid. We sat at my kitchen table going through the mail. Bills that were late. Notices I'd missed. Nothing catastrophic yet, but it could have been. And the whole time I kept thinking about what this meant. That I'd let fear shrink my world down to the inside of my house. That elderly living alone had become elderly isolated alone. That this was how losing independence really looked. Not some dramatic event, but a slow retreat until you're living in one room, afraid of everything beyond your door. My neighbor helped me understand something important. She said the fear wouldn't go away on its own. That avoiding the things that scared me would only make the fear bigger. That I needed help. Not just with getting the mail, but with addressing why a simple walk had become impossible. With building back the strength and confidence I'd lost. With making my home and the area around it feel safe again. She called my daughter for me. And together they made a plan. A physical therapist started coming to work with me on strength and balance. We practiced walking in the house, then on the porch, then down the steps, then to the mailbox and back. Small steps, literal small steps. Building back capability I'd lost through months of avoiding movement. They installed a railing along my front steps. Put up better lighting on the porch. Made the walk to the mailbox feel less treacherous. And they got me a grabber tool with wheels that I could use like a walker when I needed extra support. Not because I needed it every time, but because knowing it was there made me less afraid. It's been 3 weeks now. I check my mail every other day. Some days I still feel afraid. Some days I still have to force myself to walk out there. But I'm doing it. I'm leaving my house. I'm reclaiming the small pieces of independence I'd given up to fear, and I'm learning that aging and independence don't mean pretending you're not afraid. They mean facing the fear anyway, building support around yourself so the fear doesn't control you, accepting help when you need it so you can do the things that matter, like walking to your own mailbox, like leaving your house, like living instead of hiding. If you've started avoiding leaving your house, if simple trips outside fill you with dread, if you're finding excuses to stay in because going out feels too dangerous or too difficult, please listen to me. This is serious. This is how isolation begins. This is how you lose not just independence but connection to the world. This is how a full life becomes a small life, becomes no life at all. There's still time to address this. There's still time to work with someone on strength and balance, to make your home's exterior safer, to build back the confidence you've lost. But there's not unlimited time. And waiting until you're completely housebound, until you've been isolated so long you've lost all your connections and all your capability, that's when recovery becomes almost impossible. So please, be honest with yourself. What are you avoiding? What parts of your life have you given up because fear has gotten bigger than your courage? When did you last leave your house without dread? Because those are warning signs. Those are the moments when you need to reach out, when you need help, when you need to fight back against the fear before it takes everything. If this story meant something to you, if you recognized that fear in yourself, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who might be struggling silently with the same isolation. Leave a comment and tell me what you're afraid of, because I know I'm not alone in this fear. Hit the like button if you found this honest and real. We need to talk about these things. We need to stop pretending that staying inside is just a preference when it's really fear controlling our lives. Independence means building the support that lets you keep living fully. And that's something I'm learning, one walk to the mailbox at a time.